Start in a comfortable position with some attention to your alignment and a sense of dignity. So the upright posture is really about a couple of different things. It's about a sense of dignity and independence and strength and all of those things. It's also for your own comfort. If the body is upright and balanced, it's much easier to be still, and stillness is helpful in meditation. So find yourself some comfort. Allow your eyes to close or to take a soft focus and a downward gaze. And just check in with the body to begin. How is it in this body? You may want to take a few deep breaths, slowly, deeply, and exhaling even a bit more slowly than the inhale. Invite any tension that isn't necessary to relax. Tonight's focus is on giving and receiving. And here we simply give ourselves to the cushion, to the chair, to the pillow, to the floor. Giving this body to what will support it. And the cushion of the seat receives us, receives this body and offers support. Sense the support. Now turning attention to the breath. Receiving breath. Receiving life. Tremendous gratitude for this breath. Finite in number and as unique as a snowflake. This breath. Giving thanks, receiving life. And now considering the eyes. Thank you for my sight and all that I can see. The wonder of sight. And turning to the ears. Thank you for all I can hear. I hear voices, wind, bird song. The world is alive with sound. Thank you for the gift of hearing. The nose. Thank you for all I can smell. Fresh cut grass. Dinner on the stove. Campfire smoke. Popcorn. Thank you for all that I can smell. The mouth. So sensitive. Bringing us tastes and textures to savor. So grateful for the mouth. And of course, a whole body of skin. Skin everywhere. Thank you for allowing me to touch, to feel the world in all of its temperatures and textures. The ever so soft skin of a small child. A cozy blanket. The touch of someone I love. Thank you for the sense of touch. And finally, consciousness. Thank you for the creativity, the delight, the problem solving, and even the annoying earworms and things that go on that I wish would stop. Thank you for all of that bounty that is appreciated by consciousness. We receive so much. And now if you'd like to choose a sense and allow that to be your anchor for the rest of this meditation session, something you return to when the mind wanders, that may be helpful. Maybe it's a sense, or maybe it's the breath, the constant presence of the breath. near the end of our time in meditation together, I want to offer you this poem by Alberto Rios called When Giving Is All We Have. It begins by saying, one river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond and wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn and the pages too. But we read this book anyway, over and again. Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together we made something greater from the difference. Welcome back, everyone. I'm sorry I forgot to mention for the folks on Zoom that we will be wanting you to have, that would be me, I will be wanting you to have paper and something to write with. So we'll pause now for an extra minute in case you need to run. Oh, and for anyone in the sanctuary, if you need extra, there's some here, paper and pens on the table in the front, next, right near the cookies in case you didn't get enough. But yes, if you'll grab a piece of paper or two and a pen, that would be great. You what? Oh, so frustrating. I see some cookies being gathered over there. This is not just about the pens and the paper. I'm not calling out anybody's name, Sharon. Whatever it takes to keep peace in the home. So we're going to talk a little bit today about giving and receiving. I think of it as a love story, a freedom story, a liberation story. Last week, Sharon gave a lovely talk about gratitude. We've just spent some time in meditation thinking about gratitude and all that we're given, including that delicious cranberry lemon bar. It's
It's really good. No, I'm fine. Thank you. I have some. Appreciate it. So giving and receiving, it's more complex than it sounds to me, at least, perhaps not to you. In preparing this talk, I took so many notes from so many talks and so many articles and so many bits of suttas, and I think it might be a topic for a retreat. But we'll do what we can in this little time we've got. Many of us, I'm suspecting that I'm not alone in having a fairly complex relationship with giving and receiving. Yeah? Does anybody else have a complex relationship with giving and receiving? Oh, good. There are some people here. As one of my teachers would say, the rest of you are lying. Or ignorant. That's another possibility, but I wouldn't have said that. So starting with, maybe the first lesson we ever learned was it's more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah? So growing up, many of us were taught that it's better to give than to receive. Do you remember learning that as a child? I remember learning that as a child. I remember thinking that's very holy, and I wanted to be very holy. I was little. I gave up holy a long time ago, but this was before I gave up holy. So I wanted to be holy, and when I gave a gift, it felt like a virtuous expression of myself, but a virtuous expression of my love. And when I gave a gift, we're talking little person, when I gave a gift, it really was an expression of my love in form. And so if it was received sort of cavalierly or without acknowledging that that's really what they got, it was a little bit crushing that my gift was not able to transform them. It also then makes receiving something of a challenge when we've been taught it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I've lived a lot of years since those tender times, and yet the tenderness, the wish that my offerings are received as a manifestation of my love, that's still there. But it's often wrapped up in lots of snarly tangles that I've created for myself along the way. Here are some of mine, and I welcome hearing some of yours. If it's not just right, it's absolutely wrong. In fact, if it's not perfect, why bother? Never mind. How much I give is a measure not of my worth, but of my worthiness. The gift I give often still means, here's my love, but there's a bit of a twist to it now. If it's perfect, my ego gets a boost too. And sometimes the gift I give also means, please tell me it's the best ever. Which translated means, please tell me that I am the best ever. In those cases, the gift isn't at all about how much I love you, it's about how much you love me. That makes no sense at all, and yet it's absolutely true. Anybody else have odd feelings about giving? Any? No. Okay. Well, I'll just feel a little bit like an animal in a zoo right now, but I'll just keep going. And maybe you'll become familiar with this feeling. But I would like to invite you to consider what stories you do have about giving. So, the paper and the pen or pencil. I'd like to take the next 6 minutes for you to answer the question over and over and over again. You could write at the top of your paper, what stops me from giving? What stops me from giving? Or what prevents me from giving? What gets in the way of my giving? Any way you want to phrase that that's useful to you. And for the next 6 minutes, just answer that question over and over and over again as if it was continually being asked. So giving seems to be fraught for not just me. Yay. Alan Senaki, who is the author of Embracing Dharmas, says that giving begins with the recognition that there is nothing but giving in the universe. How could we live without the fundamental giving of the universe? We are given air to breathe, food to eat, the means to create clothing and shelter. We take the oxygen given to us by plants. We give them CO2. All beings are given their bodies, their life forms, and then we all give them back when it's time. The trees, the worms, the broccoli, all of us, we were received again, nourishing the earth with all that we've been given. Everything we have, we've been given. All we have become, everything we are, through our family history, our genetics, our Dharma ancestors, has been given to us. Our responsibility and our destiny is to give it all away. Generosity, or dana in Pali, was what the Buddha taught first, always, especially to householders or laypersons. The paramis, or paramitas, are qualities that practitioners are encouraged to develop to reduce suffering, and generosity is the first of these. The practice of dana, giving and receiving, is the foundation of Buddhist spiritual development. As clinging is the primary cause of our suffering, any practices that help us to release our attachments to objects, ideas, thoughts, or opinions, to all conditioned things, these practices will lead to our happiness and our liberation. Generosity is the first among these practices. There are three inseparable elements of generosity. A generous act is not simply an action. It requires a giver, a recipient, and the gift itself. None of these can exist without the other two. First, the giver is inspired by a sincere wish to provide benefit. The giver cultivates the intention to be generous, to be free from selfishness, to be free from clinging. And as you've pointed out here, the gift can be anything: time, money, food, care, even a kind word or a smile. The gift isn't measured in quantity, but it is measured by the quality of intention that accompanies it. And of course, the recipient isn't passive. When the gift is accepted, the recipient has provided the giver with an experience of generosity. What a gift that the receiver gives to the giver. I'm pausing here to calculate time. Okay. See, there is so much. Andrew Lenski says, the act of giving purifies intention, the quality of mind with which any action is undertaken. For a brief moment, the giver's self-absorption is lifted, attachment to the gift is relinquished, and kindness toward the recipient is developed. All actions of thought, word, and deed, undertaken for the sake of others rather than for one's own selfish purposes, become transformed by the power of generosity. Under such circumstances, according to the Buddha, before giving, the mind of the giver is happy. While giving, the mind of the giver is made peaceful. And having given, the mind of the giver is uplifted. So that really speaks to some of the concerns that many of you raised about giving. Before giving, the mind of the giver is happy. That's not the one fighting traffic, fighting people at the counter, and trying to find just something, that sort of shopping madness. Before giving, the mind of the giver is happy. Seems like a real good place to start. While giving, the mind of the giver is made peaceful. And having given, the mind of the giver is uplifted. Can these be tools that we use to inform our giving? One who is accomplished in dana is said to dwell at home with a mind free from the stain of stinginess, freely generous, open-handed, delighting in relinquishment, devoted to charity, delighted in giving and sharing. We're instructed to give, not to give too little, but also not to give too much. Mindful giving ought to be supportive of others as well as oneself, sustainable for the giver and the receiver. Giving too much may deplete our own resources, but more importantly, when we give too much, it might indicate that we don't really trust the person to take care, the receiver, to take care of themselves. We give with a sense of superiority in that case. It creates a separation between the giver and the receiver rather than the beauty of when it brings us together as no giver, no receiver. I give to you, you give to me. It's together we make pure green, simple green. So that occasion of I don't know, clean or pure generosity seems rare. I was recently graced with such an interaction, so I want to tell you this brief story that was so moving to me. I hope I never forget it. I was driving back from a retreat a few months ago. It was late. I stopped to charge my car on the way. It was at a truck stop. It was dark, a little bit scary. Plugged in my car, and when it was finished charging, I couldn't get the charger free from the car. I tried and tried and tried, and then I went and washed my windshield thinking that could help. I'll just do something different for a minute. And that didn't help. So I knew I needed to ask for help, which is another part of this whole giving, receiving thing, right? We have to be able to ask for help. Not a strong suit, but I'm working on it. So I walked across the very large parking lot to the convenience store that was attached and asked if there was anybody there that could help me. Two young people behind the counter said, yes, sure. And the woman way down at the far end of the store said, no, you can't help her. We're liable, blah, blah, blah. You can't touch. And then she said, but let me see, I can ask another friend here. And so I couldn't see who she was speaking with, but soon this man came toward me wearing a trucker cap, a t-shirt with a crucifixion, garish, very bright, bold, serious t-shirt, jeans, boots, and scruffy beard, and the kind of person that's why I'm afraid to go to these places, is because of him, this person. So he comes toward me and he's grumbling a bit, but he says he's going to help me. And so we walk over to my car. And while we get on our way to the car, he's grumbling some more. And I kind of joke with him. I said, you seem really angry. Maybe we could work that out before you touch my car. And he didn't really respond to that. Okay. So he got the first time he did not get it out. Yay. But he did the second time. And he said, the reason I'm so mad is that my boss won't help me. And I said, what do you need? He said, I need to get to Youngstown, Ohio by morning. I said, oh, I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. What do you need? And he said, well, I need money for gas. I don't have enough gas money. I have to be there in the morning. My granddaughter will be disconnected from life support in the morning, and I want to be there before that happens. So I said, well, how much do you need? And he turned and walked away. And so I followed him, said, hey, wait, how much do you need? And he said, I don't know, $60 or $70. No, that's not true. That didn't happen yet. He kept walking. He got to his truck. He came out and showed me a picture of her on a ventilator. And I said, how much do you need? He said, $60 or $70. And I opened my wallet and I had $71. How does that happen? So I gave him the $70. $70. He introduced himself. We hugged. He said, you didn't have to do that. And that was that. And I got on the cart and I just wept for the gratitude of being given that chance. I mean, how many things had to come together for that to happen? It was such a gift to me. I don't pray, really, except please let stuff like that keep happening to me. Please let that keep happening to me. For me, that is, well, miraculous that all those things came together so that that could be. And who has cash? I never have cash. All those things. The beauty of that exchange that had nothing to do with what he was wearing or the ideas I had about him or this dark place or where he was from and who he voted for and all the rest. That, to me, is the love story of giving and receiving. The Buddha taught, if you knew, as I know, the benefit of generosity, you would not let an opportunity go by without sharing. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what that meant until that exchange. And what do we gain by holding on to something that won't last? As our practice deepens, we begin to live with the understanding of the ephemeral nature of things, of all things. We don't get to keep anything. The Buddha called aging, illness, and death the heavenly messengers. These are the ultimate teachers of the reality of life. Isn't it funny, odd, not haha funny, that the things we are most afraid of are the only things that are really, truly reliable? Aging, illness, and death. Every single conditioned thing is impermanent, including us. Clinging to these things, which by their very nature are impermanent, is the source of great suffering. The Buddha recommends that we recite the 5 remembrances every day. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There's no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Someone asked Gandhi once, why do you give so much? Why do you serve all these people? And Gandhi answered, I don't give to anyone. I do it all for myself. The aim and the fruit of our dana practice is twofold. We give to help and free others, and we give to help and free ourselves. Oh my gosh, this has to be a retreat. I mean, we have 6 minutes left, and we haven't even gotten to receiving. This is a one-sided relationship. Oh. It's all right. I can give you something in 6 minutes. Whoops. Really, I can. Okay. The heart's capacity to receive kindness is not distinct from the ability to give it. When we think of generosity, we may overlook the importance of being able to receive from others and the world, as well as the ability to offer generosity to ourselves. Receiving is intimate. And like generosity, it's a practice. And this practice may help us free ourselves of clinging to our own stories. I've got many of them, got lots of stories of my independence. I don't need anyone to help me, thank you. Of not being needy, I'm not like that. Of being invulnerable, I got it. But looking closely, we can see that underlying each of these stories is separation. I'm over here, you're over there. And we don't have to dig too deeply to see that clinging to these stories is ultimately a repudiation of our own mortality. We are not invulnerable. About 10% of us will die a sudden death. The other 90% of us will need to receive some help along the way as we age, become ill, and as we die. And we will all need somebody to clean up after us after we go. So gratitude is the currency of receiving. Sharon gave a lovely talk about gratitude last week. And gratitude isn't just saying thank you, right? Gratitude is receiving it, receiving you, receiving what you offer. And so often, not only do we not ask for the help that we need, when we get the help we need or we get the support that we need, we deflect it some, even a compliment. Nah. We don't really take it in. And where is the gift or the giver in that? What we're training in, what we're practicing is letting go of our thoughts, letting go of our stuff, letting go of our ideas, our opinions, our judgments, letting go and being in this world together like this, giving, receiving like this. My iPad just got dark, so that might be the end. Dogen, no, I have to open it back up again because I want to tell you the last thing that Dogen said. Dogen was the founder of the Soto Zen tradition. He lived in Japan in the 13th century. And he said, to give is to let go. To receive is to be held. I just love that. Thank you all for being here. Whew.